Sup y'all, welcome to your 57th Objective-C tutorial, and in this tutorial we're going to be talking about, well actually not we, I'm going to be talking about arrays, you're going to be listening hopefully. So, I don't mean arrays like what you need at your job, I'm talking about an array, A-R-R-A-Y, that's how you say it. Now, what an array is, essentially all it is it's one variable that can hold many values. So, say before we had int x and we set it equal to 54. This is one variable, one value. But in this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how one variable can be equal to many different values. In this case, I'm going to be making an array called food. I'm going to be setting it equal to a bunch of different objects. Now, I'm also going to be showing you, since you have one pretty much variable equal to a bunch of different objects, how you access each object. It's actually pretty cool and pretty useful. So, you know, just like before when we talked about mutable and unmutable strings, there's also mutable and unmutable arrays. Now, a mutable array, of course, means that it can be changed. Immutable arrays means that it has to stay the same throughout your program. Now, immutable arrays are handled by the NSArray class. That's the one we're going to be creating today. We'll probably create a mutable array later on, and this is handled by the NSMutable class. But anyways, let's make an unchanging immutable array. So NSArray, I'm going to store a bunch of food objects, which is pretty much a bunch of strings. And in order to create this, create NSArray, that's the class. You want to name your array or variable. Mine's called food. And in order to create your actual array, put NSArray, make a method, and this, don't make it. It's a built-in method called array with objects, plural. Don't forget the S right there. Now, sorry, I got whooping cough. Now what you're able to do is you're able to pass in a bunch of objects, and they're all going to be stored in this one food variable. So let's go ahead and, let me think of some food. I'll make it in order. So apples, bacon, let's see, corn is food. Let's see, D, donuts. Do you know there are two different ways to spell donuts? Pretty cool, huh? And, might as well keep going. Let's see, E, I can't think of it. Elves, I can't think of any food that starts with E, sorry. And, fudge, I'll name it fidge, why not? And you always need to signal your array with keyword nil. And this isn't, when you print out your array, it doesn't get printed or anything, it just tells your array that this is the end of it. So, let me first show you how to print out one item in an array, how to access it, nslog. Alright, the first thing I want to point out is this. Your array is referenced by each index. So for example, this food array has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 objects in it. And remember, each time you're referencing something on a computer program, it starts with 0. So this apples is food 0. Bacon is food 1. Donuts would be food 3. And this fidge would be food 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is how you access, be like, alright, I'm hungry for food 2. So this is 0, 1, 2. That means I'm hungry for corn. Got it? That's my straightforward example of how to reference array objects. So let's say we wanted to print out, well, let's go ahead and just print out corn. So go ahead and press %at to print out any object. And what do we want to print out? An object from the food array. Well, object at index, and then you write what index it is. And go ahead and press 2. And remember, since you're referencing these, they're called the index. Each member in an array is called the index. Since you start with 0, apples is 0, bacon is 1, and corn should be 2. So when we print out object in the food array at index 2, it should be corn. So let's go ahead and save this and check this out. Corn. Beautiful program. All it does is output corn. Let's sell this baby to Microsoft. So that is how you print out each individual index. But check this out. We could go ahead, if we wanted to print out all the items in our array, and make that line 6 times and print out objects at index 0, objects at index 1, objects at index 2. But a more efficient way to loop through an array and print out every object would be to build a loop, of course. So let's go ahead and build a for loop, and this is the most common loop for looping through an array. So let's create a variable, just counting variable called I, and go ahead and put I is less than 6. Since remember there's 6 elements in our array, but you don't want to set it equal to 6 because it starts with 0, not 1. So it's going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and those are your 6 numbers. And then go ahead and press I++ to loop through, sequentially. It's going to go 0, 1, 2. Yeah, you don't want to loop them 2 at a time or anything, but ns log. And for our print statement, just put item at index %i, and this is going to give you what index you're at, starting with 0, ending with 5, and just put is %a. So first, we're going to output the index, which is I, 0 through 5, and then we're going to output the object. So food object at index, and then just put I. So instead of passing a number in here, it's automatically going to pass the value 0 through 5 and print out the objects accordingly. So check this out. Save. Item at index 0 is apples. Item at index 2 is corn. Item at index 4 is elves. Couldn't think of a food. And 5 is fidge, which I meant fudge, but it gets the point across. So that is pretty much how to loop through an array, and depending at what index the object is at, print it out accordingly. So yeah, you might want to study this code for a while, and once you figure out kind of what an array is, pretty much one variable called food holds a bunch of different stuff. But yeah, I mean that's essentially it. So again, this is an immutable array. It can't be changed. In the next tutorial, I probably create an immutable array, or excuse me, immutable. It's a little different, but yeah, I'm going to be copying the source code, posting it in the link below if you want it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and definitely check out the next tutorial. It's going to be real helpful.